Howdy, thanks, and welcome to NGS Season 9 Division C West. Tonight we have Cosmos versus amateur opponents. The map bans are mostly in. I'm having a little technical error, apparently. Um, some of the bands are not showing up. However, the banned maps are Battlefield of Eternity, Cursed Hollow, Dragonshire, and Sky Temple. Cosmos has picked to play on Tomb of the Spider Queen first. Match 1, Tomb of the Spider Queen. Amateur opponents will have the first pick. Looks like we'll be going into the draft here momentarily. It is the beginning of Season 9. NGS Season 9 did start just this week, so there's not really there's not a whole lot to recap about these two teams yet, as we don't have much of a play history. However, I am excited to see this season unfold. Looks like we've got a good bunch of people and a fun game stacked up for you. Some interesting things to note for you guys that are joining us for Season 9. The map rotation is, if I can recognize the icons, Alterac Valley, Battlefield of Eternity, Braxis Holdout, Cursed Hollow, Dragonshire, Infernal Shrines. Uh-oh. I can never remember the name of this one as much as I play the game. Sky Temple. The alphabet is hard. Sky Temple, Tomb of the Spider Queen, Towers of Doom, and Volskaya Foundry. Why is there of the regular maps for the game, we will not be looking at Gardens of Terror, and we will not be looking at Warhead Junction or Booty Bay, Blackheart's Bay. Booty Bay is a WoW area. It looks like we are still waiting on one player who is in the lobby but is not ready to go. So that'll be just a few moments. All right, looks like we are ready to go. We're about to have good, happy, fun Nexus time. Hooray for everybody.
Tomb of the Spider.
All right, so again, amateur opponents does have the first ban. They lead with the Garrosh ban. Looks like they don't want to deal with the throws and the taunts. Ana being the first ban on Team Cosmos. Ana, a powerful pick in competitive play with her AoE heal deny, great for securing kills, and that sleep is huge for setting up. setting up opponents for a wombo. Two very heavy sources of CC as the first bands out in this match. Kael'thas also banned by team amateur opponents. Lots of area play and heavy damage. He has very good wave clearance since most of this map is fought in the lanes with a little bit of poking around the objectives. It makes sense to get rid of a powerful mage like Kael'thas. Katie, as I like to call him. Zul, another meta ban coming from Cosmos. Also really big wave clear and really hard to kill. He brings a little bit of extra CC and a lot of lane pressure. Joanna, first pick of the match, going to Duck Rogers. She will be the tank for team amateur opponents, bringing in blinds and heavy CC, a real hard engager and real hard to kill. A very safe first pick coming out of amateur opponents. How is Team Cosmos going to counter? Let's find out. Gul'dan, dots, and ETC. It's going to be a party up in here. ETC making everybody mosh. And Gul'dan yelling dots. I imagine ETC will go mosh here because it's such a small map. However, stage dive is still a really good area slow and teleport. I still wouldn't be surprised to see it, especially into a Joanna who can easily interrupt. Stukov can also easily interrupt a mosh. Stukov and Jaina, really strong early picks. Jaina bringing that AoE mage damage, also with the consistent slow. Stukov with the area silence to deny the Gul'dan and the ETC. Second wave of banning. Greymane banned by Team Cosmos. It's an interesting ban. Heavy range damage, heavy dive. Joanna being able to go in, I can see not wanting to have a Greymane follow up, especially with Jaina slowing people. However, it doesn't look like amateur opponents is going for that dive comp. Amateur opponents does ban the Deathwing, global presence, really hard to kill. Lots and lots of damage to put out. Deathwing does have the largest hero health pool, untalented, that is. However, he cannot be healed by allies, so to make up for that huge health pool. Sylvanas and Blaze picked for Team Cosmos. Team Cosmos going with the double tank strategy. Looks like Blaze will probably be filling the role of the Bruiser with going a heavier damage build, I suspect. Sylvanas is going to add wave clear and lane pressure, especially with her ability to disable buildings. She will be big on Team Cosmos's objective pushes. Amateur opponents follows up with Raynor and Leoric. Leoric probably going to the solo lane. Raynor bringing that extra range damage, safe range damage. Give them some pepper to add some burst to take down ETC and Blaze. Looks like Team Cosmos is still looking for a support. Who will they use as their healer? We've seen Anduin pick come out. Anduin's been popular lately with the trait for saves, especially out of Joanna's CC, and also able to pull people out of Leoric's Entomb should Leoric go with Entomb for his ultimate. He brings solid healing, he brings a little bit of CC, and depending on his ultimate choices, has really good engage or counter engage. All right, everyone's loading in. Again, We have Kosadity on Anduin, Day 15 on Sylvanas, Nay on ETC, Silverjackal on Gul'dan, and Sierras on Blaze for Team Cosmos. Over here on Team Amateur Opponents, we have Sonic's Bro 33 on Raynor, Duck Rogers on Joanna, Cactus Ham on Jaina, Butte Holiday on Stukov, and Saint Terminator on Leoric. Both teams going with a really bulky, healthy lineup. It looks like they're in for the big fights. Everybody, good luck, have fun out there.
Battle begins in 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slay them all, heroes.
It looks like a standard brawl in the middle lane as Blaze goes ahead and goes down to the bottom lane for Soak. Stukov silencing the bush, trying to not get flanked. Everybody just kind of posturing, no one really committing to anything. Trying to clear the way but without taking damage. Leoric notices the Blaze down bot soaking, so he goes down there as well, leaving top lane open for both teams. It looks like Sylvanas and Gul'dan both go up to clear out the lane. Looks like a 4-man rotation on both teams. Joanna and Stukov getting caught by the ETC, but they get out no problem. Throw an extra blind to Sylvanas. Don't look at me. Run the other way from the Joanna. Looks like we're going to see a standard 4-in-1 rotation most of the game. Joanna going to about half health and then being picked back up by Stukov. Jaina's Blizzard providing some additional support to help peel people off the Joanna. Anduin goes with Renew at level 1 looks like he'll be adding some basic attacks into his build a little bit more than you would normally see out of a healer. Sylvanas going with I can't remember the name of the talent. Might of the Banshee Queen. Looks like she's gonna go Q build. As she gets away from the Joanna and the Stukov and the Jaina, she runs back in. Is almost at no health. She's able to walk out of there with a little extra heal off of the Anduin. And then it looks like we have 3 stacking quests from ETC, Gul'dan, and Blaze, 2 of which are globe quests. The third is just hitting your skills. We'll see how those stack up and how those build up over the course of the match. Looks like red team's spreading out to get a little bit more soak. Blue team starting to group back together in the middle lane. Sylvanas pushing down this early siege camp from the red team. Both teams are even in jewel counts, just about 34 to 31. None have been turned in, however. Remember, once you get 50, you get a web weaver down each lane to do the bidding of the Spider Queen. It will push down, it will summon minions, and it will do a death wave, dealing heavy damage, making it really easy for your team to push. Raynor does go ace in the hole. That's the talent I was most interested in for level 1, as that will deal extra damage to his auto attack targets based off of being any type of crowd control, slowed, stunned, confused even, as the case may be with Joanna's blinds. Actually, I don't know if blinds actually work, but I would still be confused. Back down to the mid lane, got a 4-man push into a Stukov and the tower. They let the minions go die on the tower. They go back up to Soak top lane. ETC slide in on the Raynor, engage, bounces him back. He gets rooted by the Anduin, but blue team disengages. They don't want to follow that too hastily and fall down a man early. Joanna does try to sneak a turn in, gets interrupted early. That's not going to happen. Joanna falling back in with the condemn. It misses everybody. Gul'dan throws a Q back at her just to say back off. Joanna at half health, managing an engage, gets that taken down to a quarter, walks back out. Again, Joanna is a really hard to kill hero, arguably the best tank in the game right now. Both teams rotate back up to the top lane. Blaze and Leoric still having their own little pity party down bot. Not a whole lot happening. Then ETC gets a 4-man slide and a solid disengage by red team. Blue team having to retreat away from the big old silence from Stukov. Sylvanas looking a little hurt. Gets a pick-me-up from Anduin. Looks like she's gonna stay in the lane, however. Blue team now, Team Cosmos now has 28 gems turned into amateur opponents 20. Correction, 31. Amateur opponents takes the lead on the objective. Again, first to 50 gets the first objective. ETC getting slowed in the Stukov route, almost goes down, has managed to get a little helping hand to get out of there. Everybody stays alive. Big ol' skirmish over the objective. Amateur opponents gets the first objective and almost takes down Anduin with the objective. Raynor also almost goes down. Both get out alive. Looks like amateur opponents is going to push the top lane. That is the boss lane on this map with the objective, trying to get an advantage there. And as I say that, they go back down to the middle lane. That'll teach me to think ahead. Jaina does get a kill on ETC as she finishes her Fingers of Frost quest for mana regeneration. That is a big kill, taking out the tank while the objective spawns. They're pushing mid lane with the Web Weaver. And Team Cosmos is down their tank. Blaze trying to take out the bottom Web Weaver on his own. Gul'dan does manage to get the top one down. It's just the middle Web Weaver and 5 amateur opponents pushing. Joanna does go a little too deep. The new towers do take aggro. She falls to the towers, but not without taking the fort with her. Jaina also goes down with as Blaze pops up from the bottom. Surprise. So at the cost of 1 fort, Cosmos does kill 2 of the amateur opponents and has the opportunity to turn in. Looks like they're going to try to turn in the top objective. They got 4 gathered around here. ETC, power slide on the Stukov, bumps it back. Stukov with the flailing swipe to disengage. Light bomb on the ETC, stuns the Stukov. Fear, Stukov's running the wrong direction. ETC almost going down to the Leoric and the Raynor. Stukov makes it out. Entomb from the Leoric, catching Gul'dan, and I can't see. That's Anduin. They're both dead, thanks to the Jaina Blizzard. Blaze drops the bunker. ETC running for his life. Blaze goes down. A 3-for-0 play by amateur opponents. Cosmos does get the objective turned in. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, except they squeeze the lemon in their eye. 3 people died for that one. All right. Now, I would expect Sylvanas to try to push with this objective using her trait. However, everywhere she goes, her Web Weavers are getting taken down. She might not get the opportunity. Leoric gets away from the ETC. There goes the Sylvanas trait, disabling the towers. Joanna comes in to try to disrupt. She succeeds. Another Entomb on top of a silence. That's 2 dead friends. 4-man mosh by ETC. So while Anduin and Gul'dan die in the Entomb, Jaina gets caught out, taking a party break with the ETC. Sylvanas kills her. Raynor with the Vengeance kill. That is a 3-for-1 amateur opponents favored. Amateur opponents does take this opportunity to get the siege camp, add a little bit of extra pressure. They do have plenty of gems to turn in for this objective, which I would not be surprised if they start trying to do. Leoric turning in 41 of them. Joanna moving on up to the top lane with 12 of those gems, clearing out the lane. which they're probably trying to push the lanes before they turn in, because the web weavers do stop at the first enemy they meet. So if you have a minion all the way over on the right side, then the web weaver loses a lot of push effort, because it also does lose health over time. Amateur opponents are trying to figure out where they're going to go next with this objective, probably looking to see what blue team is doing. They don't see any of them. ETC and Sylvanas do pop up on their vision. Joanna with the Panic condemned, then walking away. Looks like a 5-man push top lane with the web weavers. The towers go down, the gate's down, a wall's down. Let's start seeing some health bars go down. ETC looking to engage, decides to just whack the web weaver. Condemn, entomb on the ETC. He slides out before Leoric can body block him into the entomb. Manages to get away. Joanna at half health. Sylvanas trying to poke from the side. Gul'dan poking. Anduin even poking with his heal ability. Negative heal on the opponent, of course. That's called damage. Looks like Blaze is not able to defend the bot lane fort against the top web weaver, and as I click away, the top fort goes down. Jaina able to kill the Sylvanas, who is out in front of the destroyed fort, not able to Wailing Banshee away, as I'm sure she was trying to do. 5-man push in the top lane stops at a tower in front of the keep. And red team's gonna walk away. Team Cosmos looking at a lot of lane pressure, trying to push it off. Team Cosmos has just enough gems to make a deposit in the National Bank of Web Weaver objective and still have a few jingling in their pockets at the end. They're probably looking to make a play in on the objective. That will clear the lanes for them. However, with the lanes pushed the way they are, that is going to be a disadvantage. But it may be what they need to get back into this game. Red team looking to get an engage on the blue team. They're guarding the objective turn in real hard. They see the blue team's trying to come in. Condemn from the Joanna onto the ETC. There we go. Sorry about that, folks. A lot of looking real mean at each other, maybe a little name calling from the characters themselves, and then everybody walks away. Bottom lane does seem to be evened out, however, amateur opponents will still have the lane advantage because the fort is down. Amateur opponents does go in on the boss. 4-man on the boss with Joanna anchoring, looking out for Team Cosmos. Team Cosmos does get the turn in. They'll see that amateur opponents is on the boss because all of the camp icons go away except for any active. Amateur opponents does manage to capture the boss in time before the web weaver spawn. That'll push down the top lane, basically stopping the top lane web weaver. So Team Cosmos does go down to the bot lane, try to get some pressure. That is where they are the most pushed, maybe able to get a fort. Team Amateur opponents thinking the same thing, comes down to counter that. Sylvanas and Anduin jumping up to the top lane to take down the boss, hopefully get a little push out of that web weaver, as Raynor in the middle lane and the rest of Team Amateur opponents take down the remaining web weavers. This top lane web weaver is not going to make it very far. They do lose a chunk of their health every second. So the farther back it is, the less distance it will travel, even if it's not being attacked. What a brilliant poke check into the bush by Gul'dan. Finds 2 of the amateur opponents sitting in the bush. They're not going to walk into that trap. Amateur opponents staying grouped in a 5-man death ball, looking to get a pick. No one showing up on the map for either team. Nobody wants to show up. Amateur opponents is in position to get an objective capture. They need 22 more gems. Leoric has 21, now 22. He's probably going to do that turn in for them as they clear up the lane a little bit. Team Cosmos trying to push out the lanes again as much as possible, playing off the back foot, trying to get ahead. They waited to cap the Bruiser camp until the Web Weaver spawn, hoping to get counter push into that objective. Looks like bottom lane is the most pushed in by amateur opponents, but Blaze is going to take care of that handily, having a barbecue with them spiders. Because how else do you kill spiders if not with fire? Looks like Team Amateur Opponents is pushing into the middle lane with the Web Weaver. Lots of poke going out from Team Cosmos. Amateur Opponents biding their time, waiting for the right opportunity, looking to capitalize on a mistake instead of making an engage on their own. Except Leoric buzzes on in. Wraithwalk comes back, ready to go after his refreshing stroll through the park. Rainer trying to put out a little extra damage on the wall, open up the fighting lanes. Condemn on the ETC, then the Unstoppable. ETC nowhere to go with the silence and the entomb. That is one cooked cow. Team Amateur Opponents then going in on the middle lane keep. Gul'dan does finish his corruption quest. That will cause his corruption to echo backwards after it finishes the cast, effectively doubling the potential damage he has on that spell. Amateur Opponents is looking to come back down and get some more progress out of the bottom lane. All the Web Weavers are cleared, and this is the only keep left for Team Cosmos. Looks like, again, a lot of flexing muscles, ripping shirts, but no one's really ready to do anything. It's kind of like having an argument on the internet. Team Amateur Opponents does get the siege camp. Does Jaina have Big Blizzard? Jaina went Icy Veins and Numbing Blast for the roots. No Big Blizzard here. Some damage does go out in the bottom lane, but looking at the health bars, you wouldn't be able to tell. Joanna with the Condemn catches a few spiders, that's all. Team Cosmos trying to stay back, trying to not get picked. Looking for the appropriate engage. ETC probably looking for the perfect mosh. He will have to catch both Stukov and Joanna and Rainer in order to ensure that it does not get interrupted. No such opportunity presents itself as both teams move back up into the mid lane to do more of the same. Team Amateur Opponents taking advantage of having lane pressure advantage and just waiting for their catapults to put pressure on the core. I hear a Wailing Arrow go out from Sylvanas, silencing the Leoric, possibly also the Rainer, and then no engage. That ult is down, and I'm anxious to see how Amateur Opponents will capitalize on that down ult. Ring of Frost goes out, catches the Blaze. ETC walking away slowly. Blaze is down. Jaina at about a third of her health. And everybody will say, you know what, I'm good with that one, and live to fight another day. Except for Blaze, of course. His goose is cooked. The boss is back up. Team Amateur Opponents goes in on the boss. Boss is already at about half health. And if my vision is correct, no one can see anyone that's not on their team. No one knows where anybody is until now. The blue team, Team Cosmos, does know that Amateur Opponents took the boss. Again, Amateur Opponents probably looking to walk the boss in for the win. Team Cosmos is trying to get that turn in as a last-minute effort. Let's see if it'll be enough to push the boss off. Again, with these core changes, the core on Tomb of the Spider Queen will shoot out a death wave, dealing heavy damage to enemies in a line, enemy heroes in a line, in addition to its normal targeted attack. So let's see if this boss is enough to push into the core despite the web weavers. Entomb goes out, catches no one. ETC gets out with about a third of his health. He slides in, he gets knocked back, unable to get a mosh off. Ring of Frost catches the Blaze. Blaze getting the last Q off on the boss, extra damage. Blaze goes down. Gul'dan feared to dissipate the fight. Leoric's taking a lot of damage. The rest of his team not so much. It looks like Team Amateur Opponents is going to finish off the core for the win in match 1. Congratulations, Team Amateur Opponents. All right, as we look at the post game, Raynor and Sylvanas bringing a lot of heavy damage. Gul'dan with a lot of wave clear. However, Gul'dan's wave clear just did not seem to be enough to keep up with the pressure, the incessant pressure from Team Amateur Opponents. Great job to Team Amateur Opponents. Let's go back for round 2. Again, the bans are not showing appropriately. So I will go over that in just 1 second. Bans. Team Cosmos has banned Battlefield of Eternity and Cursed Hollow. Amateur Opponents has banned Dragonshire and Sky Temple. Now, Tomb of the Spider Queen was won by Team Amateur Opponents, leaving Team Cosmos with priority. Team Cosmos takes first hero pick, setting up Team Amateur Opponents for the map pick. They pick Towers of Doom. Oh my goodness, I've never seen anybody choose to play that map. Let's see what happens. Towers of Doom is a very unique map in that instead of being able to attack the core directly, you instead will take the towers and altar spawn throughout the match. When you capture this altar with a long channel interrupted by damage or being displaced, your core will shoot a number equal to the core plus the towers that your team controls, missiles, to hit the enemy core. Core health is 40. Boss deals 4 direct damage to the core, and if you control all 6 towers, your core will shoot a periodic missile to deal 1 core damage continuously. All right, both teams are ready. I'm ready. Are you ready? Oh, after Haunted Mines, right? Because oh my goodness, old Haunted Mines or new Haunted Mines?
Towers of Doom.
All right, we are in draft. Again, Team Amateur Opponents pick the map. Team Cosmos does have the pick priority. So, Team Cosmos with the first ban. Do they go respect bans based off of the first match? Or do they look to ban based off of the team comp that they're trying to plan? On a ban, again, the first ban from Team Cosmos. And Joanna ban from Team Amateur Opponents. That was their first pick last match. Interesting that they'll ban it. She is a very viable first pick, and they just may not want Team Cosmos to have that first pick at Joanna. Of course, hence the ban. Second ban coming out for Team Cosmos, it is Leoric. That is a respect ban against Team Amateur Opponents. I love the chat bar right now. It can't quite be seen because of the logo. I can fix that. There we go. Blaze shooting fire at the spiders, walking away. Team Amateur Opponents bans the Garrosh. Again, that was that was their first ban last match. Garrosh still a scary opponent, especially on this map where every objective is out vulnerable in the jungle. All right, Team Cosmos coming in with the first pick. Zool picks the Zool. He is still a monster. Large health pool, even though it was reduced in the last patch, and lots of clear. There's two very strong builds with Zool right now, Jailers and Sustain. Be interested to see how he builds, especially depending on how Team Amateur Opponents picks, because if they're able to lock him down, he won't be able to sustain. Sylvanas and Malthael for the first picks on Team Amateur Opponents. Malthael probably for the off lane. Sylvanas coming back in on Amateur Opponents. That's not only a pressure pick, it's also a deny to Team Cosmos, as Team Cosmos was playing Sylvanas. Kael'thas and Greymane picked from Team Cosmos. Kael'thas will be able to have large area denial to the objective. Greymane is an executioner. He may go Curse Bullet at level 10, which is heavy front-loaded damage. But if he doesn't, he will be able to finish off kills left and right with Go for the Throat. Diablo banned by Amateur Opponents. That big brute. Not allowed in this map today. Lord of Terror, be gone. Last ban coming out from Team Cosmos. Raynor ban, that's another respect ban. Raynor with a lot of damage pressure last match. Team Amateur Opponents looking for their picks. We see the Stukov again, and ETC going to Amateur Opponents this time. Well, this time ETC will not be disrupted by Stukov. They're teaming up together. Another deny from Team Cosmos. ETC's mobility on this map will probably prove to be an advantage. Looking for the tank and the healer from Team Cosmos, unless they go with an off meta team. It is a spread out enough map that I wouldn't be super surprised, but this is also competitive play. We see a Stitches and a Deckard Cain. Deckard Cain with the ability to set up for objectives early. Stitches, and you thought Gul'dan's Horrify was terrible. Stitches is horrifying on his own.
Realm needs me.
Li Ming for the final pick by Amateur Opponents. Li Ming is one of my favorite heroes in this game right now. I am interested to see what kind of build and how she is played by Team Amateur Opponents. It looks like the bulk on the teams is about the same. Deckard Cain with his armor will be just about as sustaining as Stukov as well, so it looks like a very even bulk matchup. Li Ming bringing burst damage. Sylvanas, depending on how she builds, is either going for focused executions. She may go for a little bit more multi-target teamfight build. Whereas Kael'thas Kael'thas is very AoE. Greymane is mostly an auto attacker, so he will be focus damage for the executes. Zul, very AoE present hero. I'm interested to see how this plays out, which is why we're playing the game.
Heroes.
So again, we have Ide on Greymane, Sierras on... Oh, what? There we go.
The battle begins.
Sierras on Zul,
10 seconds.
Kosadity on Deckard, Nay on Stitches, Silver Jackal on Kael'thas,
5,
and on
4,
Team Amateur
3,
opponents, ST Terminator on Malthael.
1.
We have Sonic's Bro
Let the
on
battle
Li Ming,
begin.
Cactus Ham on Sylvanas, Duck Rogers of the 21st and a half century on ETC, and Butte Holiday on Stukov. Red team does go bot lane. Looks like they're going to try to get a little of Sylvanas' trait pressure out early. They do disable the bot lane tower. They get the tower. Blue team is making their move down. They get the tower. They walk out. That's still a lane advantage. ETC gets slammed by Stitches. Greymane getting some free shots out on ETC. ETC standing there taking it. Picks up the globe and makes it out. ETC looking low, gets a pick-me-up pathogen from Stukov, and everybody is happy. So Zul and Malthael will be double soaking top and bot lane. 4-mans will be in the top and middle lane. 4-mans will be in the bot lane. Stitches gets slid through by Duck Rogers, gets bumped back, caught by the scroll root of Deckard Cain. Wait, no, Deckard Cain's on Stitch's team. He won't get caught by that. Stitches still goes down. When your tank doesn't social distance. That's correct. Both teams looking to get their camps. Amateur opponents gets their camp first. They go over to invade Cosmos' Sapper camp. They catch them with one Sapper down. They go to engage. Cosmos counter engages. Malthael rotates down to help. Stitches gets out with not much health left. Amateur opponents still looking a little low. Stitches trying to get the hook to pull him off. Amateur opponents with the invade on the camp. Well done on that play. Both teams go back to standing in the mid lane, looking at each other, calling each other names. Sappers running in, destroying buildings like they are meant to be broken. Globe goes out from Li Ming, put pressure on the gate, but it's not in time to stop the Sappers from destroying it instead of saving them for the tower. ETC with the bump back as he's about to get rooted so that he does not get engaged on. That was a great route by Deckard. Fantastic forethought by ETC. ETC gets pulled by Nay's Stitch's hook. ETC says, nah, I'm walking away. And then goes hides in the bush. Time for the cow to graze. Amateur opponents does start to rotate up. They decide to get stuck in the bushes instead. Team Cosmos looking to get some clear. The objective is up. Looks like another 4-man at the bottom. The middle objective, Zul and Malthael will cap the top ones on their own. No fighting over those. Everybody wants this bottom altar. Switches. ETC. What? ETC goes in to whack on Greymane. Gets pulled back by the Stitches. Kael'thas gets slowed down, not able to leave. Stukov with the last hit on that. Li Ming with using the reset is able to pick off the Stitches. 2 for 0 and the altar. Team Amateur opponents setting the cores 36-32. Zul goes down 2, brawling over the mid lane after the objective, gets caught by a Galaxy. Way to go, Li Ming, using those resets to her advantage. Blue team looking to spread out and get some experience back. Kael'thas goes to the middle lane. Stitches and Deckard to the bottom lane to try to stop the push. A little bit of brawling. Sylvanas disabling the tower so they can put out the damage without drawing aggro. A little bit of tower damage goes out, not a whole lot. Stitches gets the pull on Duck Rogers. ETC slides out, says, "Not today, ugly guy." Amateur opponents getting their sapper camp once again. Looks like Greymane for Team Cosmos also trying to do that, but uh-oh, I've read this book before. Amateur opponents comes in for the evade on the sapper camp, catches the Stitches out too far away. Greymane slowed by the silencing pool from Stukov at about a half health, gets away clean. Sapper stolen once again. The Headless Horseman boss has spawned. Objectives are top and bot. Zool looking to get, not top and bot, mid and bot, excuse me. I know my ups from downs. Zool getting the top sapper camp to push during the objective, while amateur opponents does push the tower, having a tower advantage coming into this altar. ETC hooked again by Stitches. He gets caught by the gravity lapse and the not convection, the flame strike from Kael'thas. He's gonna go down after a few hooks. You will end up bait. It happened. ETC down, Stukov down. They are in the amateur opponent's towers, however. Amateur opponents able to cap both altars during that fight. 10 core points at the cost of 2 heroes. ETC taking too much damage from the fort. Also goes down to fort damage, trying to put pressure on Sylvanas and Li Ming. It just wasn't going to happen. Zool doing a great job with the soak, trying to keep up with Malthael. Still a little bit behind, but a lot of that can be attributed to the kills as well. ETC slides in, yells at the Greymane, backs off. Nothing's happening. It looks like Team Amateur Opponents is trying to keep their tower alive. Because bot lane does control this map. Looks like we have a gymnast out of Deckard Cain going with all three gyms into his Horadric cube, to stay a while and listen.
The battle sells heroes. The altars rise.
Li Ming is building Calamity. It looks like a teleport Li Ming with Power Hungry. And Sylvanas did go with Unfurling Shadows to get that extra team fight spread damage out. Objective is spawning. It's only one objective this time. The brawl breaks out. Li Ming Globe goes in. Greymane goes in on the Malthael. Malthael at half health with the Pyroblast out onto him. He gets healed up in time by the Stukov. He's going to walk away by the skin of his size. It's a 5v4 now at the objective. Stukov gets hooked, pushes the Greymane out. ETC gorged by the Stitches, no health. Stukov goes down. Malthael back to counter engage on the Zool. Zool gets last righted. Stitches, Stukov, and Zool both out. Mosh Pit out by Duck Rogers. Kael'thas goes down. Deckard Cain, Greymane, only ones left alive for Team Cosmos at the cost of Stukov. They're gonna push. It looks like they're holding off on the altar until they get the tower taken down to get that little bit of extra damage out.
Red team has destroyed a fort.
That bottom tower goes back to Team Amateur Opponents as Li Ming caps the altar. That's 5 more damage on the core, 36 to 17. They're gonna take the siege camp. Siege camp goes down easy. Not much Team Cosmos can do to say about it. Root goes out by Deckard Cain. Zool saying, I have a lot to say, as a matter of fact. Takes out ETC and Stukov. Zool surviving with about a quarter health. Malthael real low. Jumps back to the Kael'thas. It's not enough to heal off of. Malthael goes down. Li Ming blowing up the Kael'thas. Gets the reset. Is able to take out the Zool. Greymane left alive by the skin of his fur. Li Ming gorged by the Stitches. Li Ming blinks out after the gorge is over. Hooked back in. Li Ming goes down. 2 for 2 after the objective. Team Cosmos looking to stay in it. And after that fight, that looks really good. A great morale boost to keep them back in the game. 2 kills after that objective and camp. So Sylvanas and EGC go up to the top Sapper camp, try to get it to add some pressure to the map. The next objective will be the bottommost one. When it, so I'm looking for that 30-second timer to spawn. There it is. That top lane Sapper camp gonna put some pressure out on the top lane while everybody goes bot lane to fight. It looks like, however, Team Amateur opponents looking to make a play on the boss. No, they're just setting up, making sure they're not getting caught out. Zul rotates up to take down the Sapper camp. Team Cosmos looking to invade the Sapper camp, but it's all they're a little bit late on that. They get caught by amateur opponents, but they blow up the Li Ming in the process. This is going to be a 5v4 at the objective when Zul gets back. Malthiel caught by the Gorge. He gets out. He's walking away. Last rights on the Greymane. Greymane goes down. Pyroblast on the Stukov. Does he have enough health? He barely does. ETC and Malthiel only ones left to fight the 4-man by Team Cosmos. Mosh goes out. It does not hit anyone. Great job, Cosmos, staying out of that party. Team Amateur opponents looking really low. Cosmos might be back in this. And during all of that, Team Amateur opponents managed to capture the objective, capture the altar, sending 4 more tower shots to the core, keeping their advantage 36-13. Stitch's level 1 went Savor the Flavor for viewers in Twitch. So whenever he munches on a hero, he gets permanent healing regenerations to try to stay alive in the later game. Team Cosmos does get their camp. Team Amateur opponents does try to catch them doing it. They're a little bit late. The camp gets caught. Malthiel gets caught going too deep, going in on the Deckard Kane. Deckard's got some stories to tell, and that's another battle scar to add to those. Zul gets picked up by the Li Ming. Amateur opponents looking to push in on the bottom lane again. ETC does get out of the route.
I have opened a tunnel near our core that leads to the center. Use it well.
What? I mean, I knew I could do that. I've opened my tunnel as well.
3 altars spawning. This is going to be a big opportunity for Team Cosmos. Team Amateur opponents 3-manning down in the bot lane. Pick up this one. If Team Cosmos can keep amateur opponents off of their altar over here, they can start gaining some ground back. They do give up the bottom altar at that cost, though. Zul gonna capture his altar, no problem. And it looks like we're about to have a 5v5 over this last altar. Malthiel picked off by the hook. ETC slides in. He gets, I think, gravity lapsed. Stitches gets gored. Not Stitches. Stukov gets gored. Stitches goes down. Indigestion, probably. ETC goes down. Greymane is picked off. Sylvanas is going to channel the altar to capture it safely, while Team Cosmos has been pushed back. Looks like amateur opponents going in for the boss play while they're up on a 4v3. Team Cosmos knows about it. They're going to go in. They're going to try to stop it. They're going to have something to say about it. Li Ming gets out with about 1/5 of her health from the Kael'thas. Mage versus Wizard. Who wins the intellect battle? Zul going in, counter the boss. Boss goes down. No contention on the cat. Malthiel dies to defend the boss capture. Team Amateur opponents up on the core count 32-1. Team Cosmos has to sweep amateur opponents from here. Stitches gets a pick on the Sapper. That's not going to set anything up too well. However, he does walk in. He chases down the Stitches. Cosmos does steal the Sapper cam. ETC gets caught by the root and some fire. Zul sees him. Zul wants him. ETC gets away behind his own defensive lines. The Sapper camp does go down. Not much good done there by the Sapper camp. It is not pushing into Cosmos, though, and that is what they wanted. The next objective is spawning, and again, Team Cosmos has to sweep the rest of this game in order to stay in the match. So all teams going up to this objective, they're gonna fight over the right side objective, amateur opponent side. In an attempt to stay in it, this is all or nothing. Stitches gets counter-engaged early. He gorges the Malthael. He hooks the Sylvanas out. Malthael gets out. Three-man mosh by ETC. That's enough to drop the Zool. Zool, Decker K, and Kael'thas go down on Team Cosmos. Kael'thas does get Li Ming, however, in that time, Greybane goes out. Stitches against the world, one Abomination and a Dream. It is not enough. Team Amateur Opponents takes the map and the match. Congratulations, Team Amateur Opponents. I'll see if I can grab their captain in Discord for a post-game interview. Oop. Let's find the right. There we go. Good game, Amateur Opponents. Good game, Cosmos. You hung in there. You fought till the end. Let's see if I can make this happen. Butte Holiday, welcome. Congratulations on that sweep. How does it feel?
I feel very good. I was stress eating before. Now I can eat my mac and cheese in peace.
You were stress eating mac and cheese, or is that where you're going to now that you've won?
Both. Both. I have a whole pot left.
Here's what I want to know. So you picked Towers of Doom as the second map. That's a very unpopular map because it's hard to play. What was the thought process going into Towers of Doom?
We've been playing it very well. Our offlaner does a great job dual soaking. And we, in Storm League, in some scrims, we've been doing really well with it. It's just one of our strongest maps. So, I mean, we felt comfortable on the majority of the maps, obviously not the ones we banned, but that is one of our strongest features, is that we do a really strong 4-man, and our offlaner is he's very good in the one-on-one. He plays it a little aggressively, which I think is a little bit different than most offlaners, so it kind of works in our favor. And we managed to take control of the macro as well, and his rotations were really well timed with our camp, so we were able to be aggressive on that. So.
I did notice every time you got your Sapper camp, you got it faster, and then you went over, you invaded the enemy Sapper camp and caught them every single time, and Malthael was always there for it. He died for it a couple of times, but that's because he pushed them out and was zoning them off so that y'all could get the cap.
Yeah, exactly. And he would always call, he's not a micro team fight shot caller. Cactus is our macro shot caller. But every single time that he was there for the rotation, he would say, I'm here, let's go. I'm here, let's go. Or let's wait for Zool. And then when Zool showed top, he said he had on a pale horse, so he was able to get the rotation quickly. So we were able to do it confidently, and we felt that we could be a little more aggressive. So
that is a very big solo laner talent on a pale horse. For those of you that don't know, that increases his mounted move speed to 50% instead of the normal 30%, so he can make those rotations and be present for team fights. Was the Malthael pick predetermined, or was that to counter the Zool?
No, it was pretty predetermined. In our scouting, we originally were confident that they weren't going to pick Zool because they hadn't last game against Randy Newman. They had first pick, I think, 2 games, and it was open both times, and they didn't take it. If they did, Malthael was the next one that would be able to counter that, or at least, be able to compete against the dual soak with Zool. So even if they did grab him, which obviously they ended up doing, we felt confident that Malthael could at least keep us in that with the dual soak. So yeah,
Alright,
so that was a little predetermined. It was either we get one or the other. So yeah.
Okay. Well, that's great. And it looked like the ban phase didn't really affect you that much then. I did notice that you picked the Sylvanas and the ETC out from under Cosmos. Was that to prevent them from playing it, or were those heroes that y'all wanted initially anyway?
Initially, we were trying to tank choke a little bit. So we were kind of choking ourselves, but Duck has a really awesome hero pool, and ETC is one of his strongest tanks. And there is no other Sylvanas player like Cactus Ham. So we were, really glad to have those, especially on that map. Sylvanas is really strong, especially now with the anomaly changes.
Right.
So she's even more strong, which we already had a strong Sylvanas player. And then Sonics can literally play anything, from A to Z. He loves Malfurion, but he was a little upset that he couldn't play Malfurion. So
you say one of the best Sylvanas players, but I played a pretty good Sylvanas back in my day. It was notable that the anomaly changes were having an impact that match. I saw a few victims to it through both games. It's hard to get used to, and it's a really aggressive anomaly change. I do want to know, how do you think you're going to do the rest of the season? This was your first match, right? And so it's a good indicator, I think. Y'all played really well, really cohesively. What do you think as team captain?
I'm really excited for the season. I think we have a lot of potential. I mean, we started playing probably at least a month ago together, and we've been working really hard. Props to our subs, Ed especially, for doing a really great job with analyst work, and he helps us a lot with practice to help us keep on improving in the right direction. So that's really appreciated. I honestly think we can compete for one of the top spots, if not take it. What's especially interesting is that, and I'm glad this happened, Smiley posted his power rankings, which, props to him. He put a lot of work into it, which was great. And as we are a mix of multiple teams, it was hard to place us, so we were at the bottom, and so we kind of sat there and were like, okay, this is great. We're seen as at least initially as an underdog, so hopefully we'll be able to prove everyone wrong, so at least to some degree. So we started out strong, but we scrimmed Cosmos actually before our first before this match. So and we were stressing out. We didn't really know what to ban. We were kind of going back and forth. So we did see the first pick Stukov. So props to them for letting me have it. Although I don't think my Stukov is great, but so props to them for a really good game, and it was really awesome having them as our first game. So, but in general, I think we'll do really well.
There's
this
a
season.
couple other things I want to ask you real quick. I have some questions from Twitch, your faithful viewers. The most important question, though, I think of all of these is, what's the best level 1 talent on Artanis?
This is I'm looking at chat right now.
Would you like to know your options?
It's either amateur opponents or amateur opponent.
Oh, okay, good.
So
I was worried for a second.
No, that's definitely the best number 1 talent. And if you don't, you need to step down if you think you're a good Artanis player. So,
as a new team, how do y'all feel playing together? Like, is there good chemistry? Is there anything that you don't share what it is necessarily, but is there anything you got to work out still? How's the chemistry?
Honestly, I love all these guys. They are so amazing. Everyone's super respectful of each other. I think we're once we figured out who our shot callers were going to be, I think it kind of worked out a lot of the kinks. We were struggling with that about a month ago. And then we narrowed it down and we kind of worked it out. Duck and Cactus are doing a really great job with shot calling. both on the micro and macro. So that kind of worked out a lot of the inconsistencies. I wouldn't say we ever really had team issues. We are really hard on ourselves as individual players, and sometimes that does show. So we got to keep our spirits up. But I love all these guys, and we have a lot of fun together. We love brawling after games. Sometimes we practice and brawl. No, I'm kidding. That's a Bloodfin joke for any of you Bloodfin Murgles in chat. No, but we really enjoy each other's company, and we really work hard to play for each other, and so.
Is there a team in your division that you're worried about?
All of them. No. Well, Randy Newman, obviously really strong in Div-D West last season.
I got bashed in Brawl against Randy Newman, and my buddy and
I
were going through their names, laughing about it. We weren't laughing very long.
Yeah, no, I was in the store probably a couple hours ago, and I saw just an entire row of Randy Newman salad dressings. Newman salad dressings. I was like, oh my god. I was like, they're everywhere. No, but they're honestly, all the teams, Div-C is one of the best divisions, honestly. It's some of the best games I've casted, and Div-C has been my favorite to both cast and watch, and now play in. But honestly, all of these teams look really strong. We've been kind of going through and scouting some of them. Randy Newman's obviously one of the most familiar teams. I do know some people on Team Training Wheels. I did cast a couple Clouded Minds games, Annie Oak League as well, Can't Counterpick Stupid. All of those teams are very familiar to myself, at least. Honestly, I don't know, all of them. You need to go into games respecting your opponents. It doesn't matter who they are at the end of the day. So, especially ones you know well, you got to be prepared for the game. So, yeah, honestly, all of them. We're looking forward to, every team's going to give us a unique challenge, and we're looking forward to taking it on, and hopefully we'll elevate from amateur opponents to maybe, at least average skilled opponents.
All right, last question, and then I'm going to let you go. You swept the match, but what did you see that you want to improve?
There's obviously a lot. For me personally, as a healer, I don't like anyone dying. So I usually kind of put myself in a situation where usually I end up dying in addition to the person that's probably going to die. So myself, it's aggressive positioning. I don't tend to have that with some other healers. It just seems to be Stukov and Lucio are the two that I need to work on with that. But I think our positioning has been something we've been struggling with recently, but this game really honestly didn't show it. We've played really well position-wise. We didn't get caught out too many times. I would say positioning for sure. And we've improved our decision-making time. So that boss call, it was something that we were struggling with for 5 seconds, and then we're like, no, we're not doing it, which was good. We usually would have kind of scrambled around and waited 5 or 10 more seconds before we made a decision. So I have been instructed. Oh, you're good. When I get to shout outs, I'll be able to do it.
Okay. Right. I forgot about that. Again, it's my first one. I'm glad this was a fun game for my first cast. Those boss calls on both maps looked really not so much strategic as so much as putting the dagger in, though. Getting a lot of pressure in. The most strategic boss call I did see, I thought was the most strategic, was getting the boss before Cosmos got the spiders on Spidershire turned in to kind of counter that Web Weaver. That was something I made a lot of note of.
Yeah, and it was good because they got they got some value from it, but I think not as much as us with how we had our lanes pushed up, and we were able to get the boss quickly and rotate on him, and I think we engaged in a team fight there, but so it limited the amount of advantage they were able to get from the Web Reavers, and sometimes you need to give objective to take another advantage elsewhere. So yeah.
All right, well, fantastic. So do you have any shout outs for us?
Yes, first and foremost to you. Excellent job casting. You did a great job. I hope to see more.
You were playing.
You're right. But everyone's been. We were excited to have you cast our game, and obviously as the game went over, I heard the last 30 seconds of it. Considering that, I tuned into your stream and it's a delay, but so props to you for casting. Hope to see you
Thank you.
more in the NGS. Props to Cosmos. I mean, again, like they're really awesome to play against. Like I said, we've scrimmed against them and they're really cool. They're really talented and honestly, like don't underestimate them. Like we didn't know what to ban against them, and I think a lot of teams are gonna struggle.
It looked like a lot
so
of those team fights were easily one way or the other until a pivot point, and then it just swung. It swung
yeah.
both ways at different fights, but it looked like the one skill shot went one way or the other, and just something pushed the team fight over. And unfortunately for them, they fell to the wayside on most of those.
Yeah, exactly. And, at the end of the day, like, they were really fun to play against. And props to my team. Seriously, everyone played really well. I'm so happy. We've improved a lot, like I said, but it was really good to see everyone had their own shining moment. So that was great. And then I've been instructed to rescind one of my statements to say that we will elevate from amateur opponents to average players to amateur opponents to seasoned marksmen.
To
So
amateur opponents to seasoned marksmen.
yes, we will elevate our gameplay.
Fantastic. So if you win the division, is there a name change in the future?
I'm not gonna lie, we had like 8 really good name choices.
It's hard. It's like naming a band.
Yeah, no, seriously. And so we did pick amateur opponents. So maybe if the team is interested in playing together, but like I said, I love playing with them and I hope that's potential in the future, but yeah, hopefully you guys will get to see more AO action, and that's our
Ayo.
acronym, which is awesome. But yeah, shout out to you again, shout out to Cosmos, and shout out to my team for being
All right.
awesome.
Well, fantastic. Go celebrate. Don't celebrate too hard. It's still the beginning of the season. All right. Look forward to seeing you and your team and everybody else in the future. And keep it up.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you guys.
Thank you. All right, to everybody watching us here on Twitch, it looks like tonight's matches are pretty much winding down. So I'm gonna send you over to another hot streamer that I like to watch. She's fun and engaging. So yeah, have a great time. Also, don't forget to click the caster review link and go review me as a caster. I can't get better unless you give me actual things to get better on, and we can't know what I'm doing right unless you tell me that too. So don't just be nice, be honest. Not that you wouldn't. Love you guys. Have a great night.